In Mexico, where they roll out 2 little boxes, little coffins with aliens inside them, real alien bodies. Oh my gosh, and they are strange, man. They are weird. Here they talk about the bone structure.
Consist of human metacarpals and phalanges mixed together. What's that?
They knew. They had to know.
It's a midfoot
Our government
bone.
knows. Oh
It's
my
followed
gosh.
by a phalange, then a metacarpal, then again
Whatever that
by
means.
phalange. Inside the wrist, we can make out 2 humeri or upper arm bones, 2 ulnae, and 1
Reptilian
tibia
or
that all
bird-like.
seem to have belonged to a child. Amongst these, we suddenly find a border vertebra. Instead of humeri,
No genitals.
femurs,
You just got
or
3
thigh
creepy
bones.
eggs in there. Look, it's
One
pregnant.
of the thigh bones is
Oh,
actually
that's
a
so
femur,
creepy, man.
only
Look at
facing
that.
the wrong way around, while the other one is a tibia. And they are completely mismatched. With the first pseudophalanges are facing in different directions on her left and right hands.
Oh, man.
The reptiloid's cranial cavity fits perfectly the cranial cavity of a llama.
I mean, that's hard evidence. That's
The
what you guys
reptiloid's
wanted.
face is actually the back of the poor llama's head.
They say it can't chew, so they drink their food. It's gross. Is that why the cows are all empty of blood? Alien, man. This is alien. This is it. This is it. Oh.
Truthseekers, seeking the truth. A truth so bold it's hard to hold. Truthseekers, truthseekers, yeah. Face the cash, face the cash.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are back on track and tonight ready to attack. I have seen a great many fake stories, and I have seen a great many people pushing fake stories. And I have seen the levels of disgusting depravity that some people will go to in order to get those UFO and alien dollars rolling in. But nothing, and I mean nothing more than this stupid story has, shown me just how dark some people are willing to go to in order to sell a fake alien story. Now, in order to sell this fake alien story, let us begin with the requirements of this grift, because I think this is important. And anybody that is promoting, pushing, or covering this without including what I'm about to say is in on the scam. That's right, I said it. If you are covering this, talking about this on a show, or promoting this obvious hoax without including the following information, then you are part of the scam. These fake alien mummies were created. First of all, they were discovered by a proven, convicted con artist. The person who found them is a con artist. Let's make sure we begin recognizing that the guy who found these so-called aliens is a convicted criminal who was a con artist. Literal con artist is the person who found these so-called alien mummies. The second thing we need to make sure that we recognize and understand is that the person largely profiting from and bringing us this story is a man named Jaime Maussan, who has been involved in countless scams and hoaxes. In fact, Mr. Maussan is so scammy that his television show, I'm told, got taken off of the air because during the health pandemic, he was selling, you guessed it, fake cures for COVID. Who does that? You know who does that? A con artist does that. A scam artist sells fake COVID cures during a global health pandemic. But let's forget about that scammy stuff and get into the scammy stuff that Jaime Maussan has brought us. Dr. Jonathan Reed, you remember that story, the fake doctor that had an alien in his freezer, promoted widely across Mexico and South America. After that entire hoax story fell apart in the United States, then Jaime Maussan picks up that fake story and heavily promotes it all over South America and Mexico, so that a proven fake doctor fraud, Dr. Jonathan Reed, can make some more money telling his fake alien stories with his hokey fake evidence. And that's just one. There's currently a list being distributed all over Twitter, which details, I think it's 45 completely and totally fake stories. So let's make sure that we recognize and understand that the person bringing us this fake alien story has also brought us at least provably 45 other completely and totally fake stories concerning UFOs and aliens. And let's not forget, besides the Dr. Jonathan Reed fake story hoax, there is also, of course, Jaime Maussan before this fake story was most famous for the Roswell slides fake story. You remember that one, in which Jaime Maussan somehow got a hold of slides that were purported or alleged to show an alien creature that crash landed in Roswell, New Mexico. And we've talked about this before. If you really want to make a lot of money with your UFO grift, attach it to existing mythology that is accepted by true believers, something like Roswell. And that's what Jaime Maussan did, along with the help of some American so-called ufologists like Richard Dolan and others, Don Schmidt, Tom Carey, all of which kind of said, oh, I got fooled too. But it's important to recognize, realize, and understand that during the running of the Roswell slides hoax, Jaime Maussan cashed in and cashed in again and again and again and again. He ran a pay-per-view in which people paid huge amounts of money to view this press conference they were going to have talking about these so-called Roswell slides. Well, it turns out that those slides had absolutely, positively zero to do with Roswell. And the so-called creature depicted in those slides was actually a mummified human young boy, a native. And the shot was taken from a museum where that mummy was on display. Another important note, the so-called doctor who helped Jaime Maussan sell that fake story is also involved in this alien mummy fake story, the Peru mummies, the Mexican aliens showed to the Mexican Congress. The very same doctor who is claiming that these are real aliens or that these are not constructed, trying to blow away the debunks. The very same doctor also, in the case of the Roswell slides hoax, said things like it could not be human anatomically. It just could not be human, and that it is not a mummy. Turns out that doctor was completely and totally wrong. And remember, he's a shady clown that works for master alien grifter UFO scammer extraordinaire Jaime Maussan. So what we get with this Mexican alien story is all the people involved have sold or helped sell fake alien stories. The man who discovered these so-called Mexican aliens, which were actually robbed from graves, the parts of which were robbed from graves in Peru. So, it gets really grifty. And it gets despicable and disgusting and dark and twisted. After all, in order to make this scam work, somebody had to steal a bunch of human bodies from an archaeological grave dig site. There is a rampant problem of grave robbers in that area. There was at the time, but they have made strides to improve things. Recognize and understand that in order to make this UFO alien scam work, the first thing you have to do is steal human bodies from grave sites. You have to steal human bodies. Then you have to get somebody to rip apart those human bodies, desecrate and mutilate those human bodies, and then glue back together this so-called alien creature. And how do you do that? You do that by putting things in the wrong place. And by the way, in the description of this video, we have given a 2-hour demonstration of how these fake alien mummies were actually created. But some people choose to ignore the part 2 because now the people selling this fake story are back. And what are they doing? They're saying, oh, it couldn't have been put together. Great. So we're supposed to take the word of con artists, scam artists, and a shady doctor who's been involved in multiple UFO and alien scams. We're supposed to take their word for it that these were not glued together with bones in the wrong places. And yes, they were. They were glued together with bones in the wrong places, with bones upside down. Take the foot bone and make it an arm bone in order to give long arm appearance of an alien. Take the arm bones and put them as leg bones to make that alien short, like the appearance of a typical gray alien. This is an illusion, a construct of an alien body, and someone made it. But the despicable part, the disgusting part, and the absolutely horrific part is that whoever is responsible for making these things literally had to spend several nights, I'm assuming, ripping apart human bodies and then gluing them back together wrong. And then it gets better. Then you cut off the skull of the human and you replace it with an animal skull that has been doctored to look like an alien skull. It's horrific that somebody sat and ripped apart human bodies and desecrated and mutilated the remains of another fellow human being in order to make this scam work. And the grift squads that are pushing this completely and totally fake story, people like Jimmy Church and Christina Gomez, people like Third Phase of Moon. By the way, that's another clue. Third Phase of Moon have created more fake alien and UFO videos than anybody on Earth. They're in very close competition with Jaime Maussan for being the biggest alien UFO scammers on planet Earth, right? And what about Christina Gomez and Jimmy Church? Well, Jimmy Church brought us hordes of fake stories. Remember, including the Jonathan Reed fake story that Jaime Maussan also brought us. So isn't it interesting? Birds of a feather grift together, right? They both made money. Jimmy Church and Jaime Maussan both made money selling the completely and totally fake Jonathan Reed story. So I guess let's make some more money selling this. But before anybody jumps in to get their pound of flesh, which I say quite literally because this story involves pounds and pounds of human flesh in order to make this disgusting, despicable scam work, right? You got to have that pound of flesh. These people are all jumping in to get their money on this completely and totally fake story that was created by stealing human bodies, desecrating them, and mutilating them. So I renew my question, and I'm asking this to everybody who is selling, actively promoting this story in order to make money. Can I have maps of your relatives' grave sites? And then, is it okay with you if I go dig up your dead relatives, rip their bodies apart, mutilate them, and then glue them back together to look like an alien in order to sell a fake alien story and make some money? And this is a very important question, because if Christina Gomez is not okay with somebody doing that to her relatives, why is she okay with this shit? If Jimmy Church is not okay with somebody digging up his dead relatives and gluing them back together, making them look like an alien to make money, why is he okay with this? What about Third Phase of Moon and everybody else that's jumping in to get their alien dollars here? Same question. Can someone go dig up your dead relatives, rip them apart, put them back together in the shape of a fake alien to make some money? You're okay with that, right? We have to remember that the human beings were mutilated in order to sell this fake scam story. Human bodies, including the bodies of dead children, were ripped apart and glued back together by scammers, by hoaxers, hucksters, and bullshit salesmen. In what goddamn world is it okay to rip apart human bodies in order to sell a fake alien scam? And hey, Jimmy Church and Christina Gomez and Third Phase of Moon and the entire grift squad of other individuals jumping in to get their money. It's not just Jaime Maussan. If you're not okay with people doing that to your dead relatives, then take a goddamn stand. Find some other fake bull story to sell and stand up and do the right thing. Say that you don't condone someone doing that. Say that you condemn someone digging up people's dead, long dead relatives, their ancestors. Stand up and do the right thing for once, right? Instead of thinking about your goddamn power. Well, this is a great story. We can make a lot of money on this. Who cares if human children's bodies were desecrated so that I can get some extra money in my pocket out of this story? The people selling this story as real, or even pretending it might be, are just as despicable as those grave robbers who went in the dead of night to steal children's dead bodies in order to glue this shit together. They're just as guilty, in my view. And I'm allowed to have that opinion. That's what I think. If you participate in this, you're saying that these scumballs that did this, a proven con artist, he's the one who discovered them, you're saying it's okay that they did that. You're saying it's okay that Jaime Maussan has been caught selling 45 other fake stories, but this one might be real. And let's be clear, the people like Christina Gomez and Jimmy Church and Third Phase of Moon and everybody else grifting off of this, right? Those are the lesser bottom feeding grifters. The top tier grifter in this story is Jaime Maussan, because Jaime Maussan has been paying people to prop up this fake story for years. That's another huge issue. People are saying, well, these doctors, they said that they can't be glued together. Yeah, the doctor that also said the Roswell slides hoax couldn't be a mummy and it couldn't be human. The doctor that is on Jaime Maussan's payroll said these can't be glued together. These are definitely real. They're definitely real specimens. And there comes the ambiguity and the muddying the waters. Of course, yeah, they are real specimens. You made them from desecrating human body parts and gluing shit back together in the wrong place. Yeah, they're human. And then there comes a comedy of the Jaime Maussan's so-called evidence, because the evidence keeps changing. First, these are aliens. These are definitely aliens. Then we see some sort of DNA results, and you can get them. They're online. The DNA results come back completely human, because they're human bones that made these fake aliens. So is there any surprise they would come back as human? But then in comes the ambiguity. In comes the muddying the waters. Then people say, oh no, they're only 30% human. We don't know what the rest is. And no, there's ample and supportive explanations for what happened with these DNA tests. These alien bodies were infected and injected with chemicals, plaster, all kinds of things that could negate real and scientific inquiry into what these actually are and solve the mystery. But remember, the people selling this shit, they don't want to solve the mystery. They want to perpetuate the mystery and keep the dollars flowing in. And remember, another important note, ultra important, is that the other main profiteer of this story is Gaia TV, who has brought us more fake stories than anybody, including Jaime Maussan and Third Phase of Moon. Do you know how hard it is to produce more fake stories than Jaime Maussan and Third Phase of Moon? But Gaia TV does it week in, week out. And Gaia TV has been responsible for David Wilcock's fake stories, Corey Good's fake stories, Emery Smith's fake stories, Anjali's fake stories. Who else? Richard Doty's fake stories. Every week you can tune into Gaia TV and hear Richard Doty telling you stories about the reptilian alien overlords that really control Earth. These are not credible sources of news and information. And by the way, the very year that Gaia TV aired this special, they got a huge uptick in new subscribers because people wanted to see the truth about these alien mummies. And that year, Gaia TV made, guess how much? They made $30 million. And what was their big, huge story that year? This story. These fake Mexican aliens made by gluing together human body parts, including children's bones. They made $30 million that year, based largely on a huge uptick of new subscribers who wanted to see that documentary they were producing with who? Jaime Maussan. So the two biggest profiteers behind this story were Jaime Maussan. Again, he's been caught 45 or more. And I think that's a low number. Somebody made a graphic of the 45 hoaxes he's been involved in, but they left off a bunch of them. I'm sure it's over 50 or 100 fake alien stories that Jaime Maussan has been caught selling. He also sold a fake alien specimen that turned out to be a monkey. Somebody shaved it down, mummified it somehow. Oh, it's definitely a little alien. No, it was a monkey. Then there were the fake fairies that were glued together animal parts. Jaime Maussan was also behind that scam, that hoax. And the other principal profiteer is Gaia TV, who, like I said, has profited to the tune of millions and millions of dollars. And what do they sell? They sell the worst garbage, fake information about aliens and UFOs on planet Earth, bar none. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. Not a good track record, either of these two people. Remember, these are the two people who are bringing us this story, Gaia TV and Jaime Maussan. And, you know, I like to joke about Gaia TV. If you want to know if something is definitely fake, if it's on Gaia TV, that means it's definitely fake. And history proves that. David Wilcock, Emery Smith, Corey Good. How many millions of dollars did they make pushing that guy's fake stories? You remember him, the guy who spent 8 years of his life, several years on Gaia TV, telling everybody his Buck Rogers science fiction, you know, fantasy stories about time traveling and going to space and meeting aliens and going to Mars and going to the moon. And then in a court deposition under oath, that clown admitted he'd never been to space. That was Gaia TV's big star, right? That was their other huge big story, the Corey Good fiasco, fake secret space program nonsense, right? Great. So this is who we have, who are selling us this story. Remember, these people, I say it all of the time, these are not people that are telling big stories. These are people that are selling big stories. So tonight we're going to get into all of this, and I have even more proof than I had last time that these are indeed fakes. We're going to get into all of it tonight, friends. So we'll take a moment to recognize and welcome in the live chat, whether you're chatting on Rumble, chatting on our Twitch chat, our Facebook live feeds, our Twitter feed, or here on YouTube or on pill.net. We welcome each and every one of you. And I already see some kind and generous people in the live chat. For people unaware, we read every single super chat every single night. Lord Ludicrous, longtime show supporter with a kind and generous $4.99, says, great work and awesome show. Well, we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and long-term support. Lord Ludicrous has been in my live chat seemingly forever, and I hope you'll always be. Thanks, Lord Ludicrous, for your kindness, generosity, and support. We're praising the cash, telling people the truth. But I got to tell you, it's a hell of a lot easier just lying to people. It's a hell of a lot easier just selling the fake nonsense. We can look at the numbers and see that people like the people I mentioned, like Third Phase of Moon, Jimmy Church, Christina Gomez, and others. We can look at their numbers and see they're making a lot of money selling this fake story. Much more money than I am making telling you the truth about it. But that won't stop me. If I was here for the money, I would have sold out long ago. Though I do love I love when I get messages where people are telling me that, oh, well, your channel's monetized. Yeah. Not like the grifters channels, but it is what it is. All right. And I have, for once, I am ahead of myself. Normally, it takes me a while to get the links to the broadcast into the description of the video. It's already there. And we also have a link to our first show about this situation. And if you're extremely interested, I'm going to try to not repeat myself. I'm going to try to show you other or additional evidence that these things are fake than we did in part one. But by the time I'm finished, you'll have 4 hours of proof positive that these things are fake. And remember that this only applies to rational people. And one of the reasons I'm doing this show is because people start arguing with me on Twitter about this again. Why? Because there was a second UFO hearing where Jaime Maussan said more stuff like they can't be glued together. My experts said they're not glued together. Well, those are experts on Jaime Maussan's payroll, you idiots. And this is another important thing to note. Every single independent expert that looked at these x-rays said they were fake. Everyone. The only people that are saying positive things or claiming that they're real, whatever real means. And that's another thing. Get into the ambiguity. Are they real bodies? I guess, even though they're ripped apart and glued back together again, and with bones in all the wrong places, and upside down bones, and leg bones where arm bones go, and arm bones where leg bones go. Are they real? I mean, yeah, but we have to stop and recognize that. What does real mean? Do you mean, are they real aliens? Definitely not, 100%. And even Jaime Maussan's own DNA results say human, right? So what do we mean by the term real? Jaime Maussan, oh, they're definitely real specimens. Well, sure, they're real specimens made from human body parts, glued back together wrong. What do we mean by real? Again, this is where muddying the waters comes in. Oh, they're not glued together. They're definitely real. Well, I'm sorry if I don't trust the expert that took these bodies from a con man who grave robbed their parts and pieces illegally, most likely. In most countries, it's illegal to rob graves. So this whole thing starts illegally. This is illegal from the very inception of this stupid hoax. You can't just go digging up dead bodies and, do whatever you want with dead bodies. There is a basic respect given in all human cultures that I'm aware of. You give some respect to those dearly departed and you leave them rest in peace. You don't dig them up and glue them back together to make money. But again, let's not let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good fake story that people can sell. And, principally, I just see her as a feeder. I just see her as a complete and total bottom feeder. Anything that she thinks can make money, no matter how despicable it is. By the way, we'll put our fair use banner up as we get into this. And again, I renew my question. Christina Gomez, you're okay with me or somebody else, anybody digging up your dead relatives, right? And ripping them apart and gluing them all back together. Because you're okay with selling this story. How much money have you made so far? Do you want me to add it up and tell my audience? Because I know what monetized views are worth. We can look up, we can check, we can tell everybody how much money you're making off of dead aliens. Dead babies. We can look up your stats and see how much money you're making off of somebody ripping apart dead babies. People are goddamn despicable. And I'm sick of it. And where is everybody else? Where are the Lou Elizondos? Where are the Christopher Mellons, the so-called disclosure movement people, to stand up and say, excuse me, this is wrong. You can't rip apart dead human babies and glue them back together again to make alien dollars. I'm reminded of that Star Wars quote, a greater hive of scum and villainy the world has never known. That's what we get to with these despicable people. And with a smile on her face, not telling her audience that these are dead babies that somebody ripped apart and glued back together again. Here she is to get her money. I can cover this too, and I can make money. And all you have to do, remember, to cover this and make the money, all you have to do is forget to tell your audience that these aliens were made from dead baby corpses ripped apart and glued back together again. It's goddamn ridiculous that you're making money off of this. Her parents must be real goddamn proud of her as they're paying for her college, right? This is what she's doing in her spare time. Nice. All right, so we're going to get into this. And remember, it's not just, it's the important note here is that this is not just Jaime Maussan and Gaia TV making millions from this story. And they have, let's be clear, Gaia TV and Jaime Maussan have made millions. Then come in all the bottom feeding grifters who also want to make monetized videos about the dead dead babies that were ripped apart and glued back together as aliens so they can make some money, right? They got to get in and get their pound of flesh.
If I told you that they showed alien bodies, would you believe me?
Would you at least use the goddamn word alleged? Because you state things as facts like an idiot. And, I'm going to try to not get too personally insulting, but this girl is not very, well endowed with gray matter. And we'll leave it at that. So, there's a few possibilities here. Either she's so dumb she didn't do 5 minutes of research into the story before rushing to make monetized videos and make money off this story, or she knows and she doesn't care that these are dead babies that are ripped apart and glued back together again. She doesn't care that graves were robbed. She doesn't care that somebody ripped apart dead human babies to make these fakes. She doesn't care as long as she gets her money. Those are the two possibilities. Either she's dumb as dirt or she doesn't care what was required to make this fake story work.
The Mexican UFO hearing that took place September 12th, they showed alien bodies, but
she says they showed alien bodies, not alleged alien bodies, not what they claimed were alien bodies. They showed alien bodies. No, again, those were fake alien bodies made from glued together dead babies. You dummy.
But these Nazca mummies, while they are nothing new in the UFO community, the panel did share their findings under oath. Not only did Jaime Maussan actually show them in glass containers, but also we had the Mexican naval surgeon by the name of Dr. Jose Valse.
Yes, and he's been involved in other hoaxes with Jaime Maussan, hasn't he? Right? And I apologize for being personally insulting. I shouldn't do that. Let's try to stick to the facts, and Miss Gomez will try to educate you
who
as
came
we go.
forward and did an entire presentation on these aliens.
She keeps saying aliens as a statement of fact, when facts to support that they're actually aliens are not actually in evidence.
Now, they did stress that about 30% of their DNA was unknown.
Well, that's new because, again, we get with the ambiguity. If you look at some of the reports or studies or claims, they just say that they were human DNA, but now there's new claims. Oh, only about 70% of their DNA was human. In other reports, you hear only 50%. There's all this muddying of the waters and all this different information swirling around these fakes. It doesn't make it any more real.
Well, 70% was known. However, they also mentioned that these mummies are not human.
No, they claimed that.
And that they don't want to call them ET necessarily because they don't know, but they did live with humans
what is that, mariachi music in the background?
Thousands of years ago. This hearing was historic.
Yeah, it was historic because it's the first time that an actual federal government let people wheel in dead babies glued back together as fake aliens into an actual hearing. And by the way, she says in this that they testified under oath. They did not testify under oath. She got that part completely and totally factually inaccurate and wrong. But hey, don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of your shit reporting, right? And by the way, sometimes people will say things much better than you could, or what a great thing tweeted earlier today by original old school UFO watchdog, who said that he finds the Hamburglar more credible than Jaime Maussan. I find the Hamburglar more credible than Christina Gomez, Jimmy Church, Third Phase of Moon, and Jaime Maussan and Gaia TV. This is not the height of credibility, right? Put on a good face and fake sincerity, though.
I did not expect this. I don't think anyone did. Do take a look at it. You can find the entire hearing on my YouTube channel under Christina.
Yeah, good for you. Get those TikTok plugs in and funnel more monetized views to your shit piss poor coverage of this event, where you never even mentioned the debunks proving that these were human remains ripped apart and glued back together again. These are facts, maybe inconvenient facts if you're just trying to make money pushing aliens, but these are facts. So interestingly, I checked in and there is a whole lot you will find if you look on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. You will find hundreds, thousands of videos promoting these as aliens, and you will find very little or almost none telling people the actual truth behind this story, the dark, sordid history behind this story. And now what we're getting is new layers of bull are being heaped upon the old layers of bull, right? New claims being made. Now people are claiming, including Jaime Maussan, that there are thousands of these alien bodies in caves somewhere. And this fake information, misinformation, or let's just call it unproven, grandiose claims of hundreds of alien bodies in caves somewhere is being pushed all over the internet. And I found several examples. I'll play this one.
Thousands of specimens, it just said. Check this out.
Thousands of alien bodies found mentioned in Mexico Congress hearing.
So huge news from that Congress hearing, which is still going on. I just thought I'd do a quick video. There are thousands of these bodies in these caves, and they're going to...
Notice that everybody just parrots what the grifters selling the fake stories say. Nobody fact checks anything. Let's just repeat this. Sounds good. Wow, thousands of alien bodies.
An excavation and go into these caves, I think early 2024, and they could...
Oh boy, an excavation into a cave. Sounds like somebody's been hanging out with Anjali, right? But that was another fake story. Sorry, I get them confused sometimes. There's so many.
There'll be hundreds of different types of reptilian species, they're saying.
Hundreds of different types of reptilian species of aliens. Okay.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. They are saying that this could be some sort of they are non-human. They could be some sort of human hybrid or some sort of different
now
type
remember,
of species.
The first story originally was that these were aliens. Then we get, no, they're alien human hybrids. You know, when the DNA results come back as just human, oh no, they're human alien hybrids. Then the story changes again. No, these are reptiloid humanoid aliens, or some unknown species that originated on Earth that is based on reptilons or reptiles. Well, then why does the DNA come back as human? If they were reptiles, the DNA would come back as reptile. It never did. So this is the latest iteration of the lie fest. Is these are reptile humanoids, reptilian-based humanoids. They're based on reptiles, not primates. Well, then why does the DNA come back as human? Could it be because they're glued together human bones that somebody stole from a Peruvian gravesite, maybe? Could be, right?
But the ones that they are showing now, they are non-human, and they are saying there are thousands of...
And remember, everybody is repeating things as statements of facts, when the evidence to support that as a fact is not an evidence. These are just claims. And there's an important distinction that should be made. And to be clear, I have no problem with people reporting on what happened at the Mexican UFO hearing. But, you know, the words like alleged or claimed, you know, Jaime Maussan claimed that these are very, very important. And nobody does it. Nobody takes the time to say alleged or claims. They just repeat, these are non-human. Well, the DNA disputes that. So again, we get to the ambiguity and the muddying the waters on these matters.
These bodies in these caves, that should be front page news tomorrow. That is huge news.
It should be.
For me,
yeah.
It's huge news.
It's huge news. It's huge fake news. If this was a real story, it would be front page news. But could it be that major media outlets do 5 minutes of fact checking and go, oh, this story is from Jaime Maussan and Gaia TV, so it's completely and totally fake, like all their stories. But some people don't know that, so they rush to make a TikTok video repeating the lies. Huge
I'm going to go watch the rest of it now. I just thought I'd let you know. Thousands of bodies, skeletal remains of these creatures.
Yeah, there are, and by the way, there's a little bit of truth in all statements. I'm sure there is thousands of skeletal remains at a gravesite in Peru somewhere. Doesn't mean there are thousands of alien bodies. That's quite a stretch. You think maybe you could provide some evidence before you just go tell the world this is true?
Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Yeah. Well, let us do that. So TikTok is just filled with people making absolutely ridiculous claims about these aliens. But I did find one person, and I'm gonna have to reach out to that guy because he claims that he busts more alien fake stories than anybody, or something like that. He's a TikToker. It's Jack Mac Barstool. But there was at least one voice of reason I found on TikTok.
I'm shocked by the number of people that looked at this alien today and thought it was actually an alien. So this Mexican official today shows off quote unquote non-human corpses, which they claim are aliens, during their first UFO hearing today in Mexico. They allegedly found this corpse in Peru. This is the fellow that presented the aliens to the Mexican Congress. His name
Proven hoaxer scammer Jaime Musan.
is Jamie Musan. He fancies himself a UFOologist. I didn't even know that's a thing. He's been doing these alien presentations for a while. He's a liar. In 2015, he had an event where he presented the quote-unquote most important UFO evidence of the most important case in the history of the extraterrestrial UFO phenomenon. I mean, the amount of buzzwords in that sentence is insane. Sounds like somebody trying to get me into FTX back in 2019. This event turned out to be based around a lie. His big evidence actually was just a mummified child from thousands of years ago. He's a lie.
Yeah, so this is not the first time that, this is not the first time that Jaime Musan has used a dead human baby in order to scam for UFO dollars. It's insane. Like, he's used dead human babies multiple times now to grift for alien dollars. Isn't that insane? Multiple times Jaime Musan has used dead babies. Ooh, wrong one. I gotta fix that camera. So we're gonna continue with this because, like I said, out of the hundreds or thousands of videos purporting these things to be real, it gives me at least some hope. There's at least one guy out there.
He just lies about this UFO stuff. But people still saw this paper mache plus clay third grade art project and said to themselves,
it's actually not paper mache. That's a misconception. It looks like it, but it's just plaster placed on top of the dead humans that were glued together to create this hoax.
oh my God, the aliens are real. I'm probably the biggest anti-alien guy out there.
I don't know about that.
Don't think they're real. I just don't. I'm sick of hearing about them. Like, look, this is just E.T. Somebody did a bad sculpture of E.T. They're the same. They're the same. This is just not real. It's fake. And if you thought it was real, I hate to be mean, you may want to start considering some things.
Yeah, that's an important consideration. If you so desperately want to believe these things are real that you're just going to ignore that somebody chopped up human dead babies to make them, you got real problems.
Like about how you go about your life. I'm serious. Maybe it's time to start reading some books, find God. I don't know. But if this got you, this may be the wake-up call you need.
That may be a wake-up call. Absolutely. So I've got a lot more to share. I don't know how many of these TikTok videos do I really want to sit through again. Yeah, there's some that are actually important to the presentation. One second. Let me get the next one here. Yeah, and some of this stuff is just reposted, absolute propaganda from Jaime Musan and friends. And here's one of those.
As a result of our research, the team has come to the conclusion that
Confirmed by 11
the
scientists.
are completely authentic from a biological standpoint.
Completely authentic from a biological standpoint. What does that mean? What does completely authentic from a biological standpoint mean?
And do not show any sign of being manipulated or manufactured in any way.
That's a complete and total bold-faced lie. Every independent expert that has looked at even the x-rays of these things has said that they were manipulated. Bones were cut, bones were placed in the wrong places. That's manipulation. But apparently these grifters went to the Goebbels school of propaganda. If you just repeat a lie long enough and loud enough, it's the truth. There is absolutely an incredible amount of evidence that these things were manipulated and created from human remains. To say anything otherwise is a bold-faced lie.
Our scientific approach has been rigorous.
Oh yeah, very rigorous. Jaime Maussan is paying scientists to sign off on this shit, and anybody that does is goddamn despicable.
And the results contribute to the authenticity of these bodies.
Authentic bodies of what, though? Yeah, they're authentic bodies. They're built from human bodies.
Letter signed by 11 high scientists of the Ica Peru University, 1st of November of 2003.
Yeah, and I would like an interview with all 11 of those so-called scientists that signed off on this garbage, because they all should instantly lose their accreditation. They should lose their professorships. They should lose everything for taking what I can only assume is a payment to help a proven scammer hoaxer who's scammed and hoaxed 45 or more alien fake stories, including one other one that involved a dead human baby. They all should face some kind of consequences. And I'm going to be separately, I will be researching if that claim is accurate. Are they really 11 scientists? And then I'm going to be contacting them and want on the record comments from them about this scam, this hoax involving dead baby parts. One second, let me get to the next one here. Oh yeah, I only have a couple more to go, and then I have some articles to share. Important. Oh wait, I got them twice. Let me get back one more. This one is a little more measured, I think, so it's important. But most of the videos that I found, this one is important too, because it includes a clip from NASA scientists. By the way, up until now, there was no access being given or offered to any of these so-called specimens. And that's another part of the ambiguity and the muddying of the waters. How many specimens do they have? Nobody knows. Is it possible that they made copies of original ones that were busted and they did a better job of gluing the bones back together wrong, or did, like a 2.0 version to fool more people that would look at these things? Yeah, we'll get into that.
Today's the day we have been waiting for, the NASA hearing regarding UAPs, UFOs, extraterrestrial life. A reporter from BBC, Sam Cabral, was up at the podium and asked them directly what their opinion was regarding the bombshell out of Mexico in their congressional hearing in which they presented the alien bodies. This was a perfect opportunity for NASA to truly be honest with the American people. Instead, they deflected.
I don't believe it was a deflection. I believe that what he said was accurate, which is give everybody access to samples, give everybody access to the so-called specimens, and we'll get to the truth of this matter.
Response was, if it's true, if it's real, then they should share their findings with the scientific world so that we could test, they could test the validity of their results.
Yeah, and that's called science. Peer review is part of science, and we don't have peer review about all the claims coming from the Jaime Maussan camp, and we don't have peer review about all the claims coming from Gaia TV. What we have is people being paid to be part of a for-profit alien scam adventure. If we had peer review, this entire story would completely and totally fall apart.
It is a valid response, but how do we know they haven't? We truly don't. At this point, will we ever get clear answers? Probably not. So my suggestion, keep recording, keep submitting your witness videos, because the truth is coming out.
Sam Cabral with BBC News Digital. We've been
This
talking
is
a lot
from the
about
NASA
since
UFO
shifting
hearing.
from sensationalism to science today. Has NASA been in touch with the Mexican authorities about the rather sensational revelations earlier this week of 2 allegedly non-human corpses? And what, if any, importance do you attach to these discoveries?
I think David had to prep for that one.
Well, this is something that I know I've only seen on Twitter. So it's,
he must be living in a cave, but okay.
When we have unusual things, you want to make data public. I think of this as like NASA has one of the most valuable samples from outer space, lunar rocks.
That's
what
true.
do? We make them available to any scientists who want to work on this. We don't know the nature of those samples that were shown in front of them. If I was the Mexican government, I would are making recommendations to the Mexican government. That's not our charge here. We're doing this for NASA. My recommendation was, if you have something strange, make samples available to the world scientific community.
And they have not done so yet, but they claim now they're going to do that. And I think that's in direct response to this challenge from the NASA scientists.
And we'll see what's there.
I'll just add that one of the main goals of what we're trying to do here today is to move conjecture and conspiracy towards science and sanity. And you do that with data, as David says. And that's the whole.
And the only data that Jaime Maussan has released are DNA reports that basically say human, but not quite human, or I'm sorry, human, but there's degraded results. There's strange results coming back. And why could that be? It could be because these are a construct, an illusion of an alien body created by gluing together human body parts. And we'll get into some proof of that in a moment.
Purpose of this study and this roadmap.
Thank you.
All right. And I have some articles to share, which are extremely interesting. And again, all of this information is out there and available. However, people just basically don't want to talk about the actual evidence. And remember that this whole thing has been bandied about since 2018. That means that Jaime Maussan has had 5 years to provide evidence of his claims. And instead of getting evidence of past claims made, what we get is new claims being made without evidence. That's very problematic, if you ask me. But, again, don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good story you could sell. So this is a story that originated at the original time that the story was sold the first time. It's important to note that the goalposts keep changing. First, they release this alien they called Maria, and that got completely and totally debunked very quickly. Then they come up with these smaller ones, and those took longer to debunk. Now there's new claims being made on top of old claims. They didn't prove their claims in 2018. It's 2023. And consistently, their claims are being proven to be completely and totally wrong, to being factually inaccurate. And so in order to combat that, I suppose, what Jaime Maussan and the Grift Squad are doing is just generating new claims. And here we see a shot of the original alien, the first one, right? That got debunked completely and totally very, very quickly in 2018. So Jaime Maussan moves on to different bodies. We might be on the third iteration of this original scam. And this is from Live Science. Those alien mummies appear to be a mix of looted body parts. This week, reports and bizarre images of a group of 5 mummy-like bodies from Peru that have 3-fingered hands led to claims by some that the mummies are not human and may be aliens. Clearly, they aren't aliens, but even so, what gives? Are they even real mummies? Live Science has found that some of these mummies may represent a combination of the looting and manipulation of real human being body parts, real human mummy parts, I should say. One of the mummies looks like a typical Nazca mummy in the flex seated position, said Andrew Nelson, a professor of anthropology at the University of Western Ontario in London, Canada. The Nazca people were an ancient culture in Peru who bundled up their mummies in textiles and constructed the sprawling geoglyphs called the Nazca lines. Grotesquely, the hands and feet seen on the mummy and possibly others may also be parts of real human mummies that have been manipulated by forgers. The white coating added afterward to hide the manipulation, said Nelson, who is not involved with research on the mummies. No, he's an independent anthropologist who took one look at these and said they were fake. Every independent, I'm going to say this again, this is extremely important. Every independent expert who looked at these said they were fake. It's only people being paid by Musan and company that are saying anything else. That's an important distinction. You can't trust the people selling the grift to give you accurate or real information. You can trust independent experts who take a long, hard look at them, however, and every independent expert that I have found that took a long, hard look at these said they're completely and totally fake. The article goes on to mention a number of other researchers also believe that real human mummy parts were used to create these fakes. A dozen Peruvian mummy researchers have put out a statement. These are experts in Peruvian mummies. They put out a statement condemning the practice, saying that it has violated numerous national and international norms. Yeah, like robbing graves, like desecrating human corpses. The article goes on to state one of the researchers who signed the statement told Live Science that, quote, I particularly find repulsive that anyone would dare to dehumanize deceased human bodies. You can't take away the condition of human to a human being, said Guido Lombardi, a professor of forensic sciences at Universidad Peruana Cayetano Heredia. According to Jose Jaime Musan Flota, who is a journalist, calling him a journalist is a stretch, working with researchers studying these members of the team pay Mario an undisclosed sum to view the mummies, take samples of them, and conduct x-rays and CT scans on them. So Jaime Musan paid the guy who discovered these, who's a proven con artist, to take samples from them, conduct the x-rays, CT scans, and sell this story. Looted in Nazca, the mummies were supposedly discovered in 2015 by tomb robbers working in the Nazca region, an area where the ancient Nazca culture flourished. The mummies came from a group of recuerdos, or archaeological treasure hunters from the city of Palpa, said Thierry Jimin, president of the Inkari Cusco Institute. Hyman is involved with research on the mummies and refers to the head of this looting group as Mario. Yeah, Mario was shown to be a proven convicted fraud. Great. Mario is a treasure hunter. He is a delinquent who is well known to the police services of the Nazca region. His group has looted archaeological sites in the Peruvian coast for more than 20 years, and justice does not do much to stop him, Hyman said, claiming that he informed Peru's Ministry of Culture about Mario's activities, but has not heard back from the ministry. By the way, now they're criminally investigating all of this, the Peruvian archaeological, or Ministry of Culture, I should say. The Peruvian Ministry of Culture is criminally investigating the theft of these bodies and the desecration of these human remains to make these fake aliens. That's an ongoing investigation. I wish I had more to tell you about that, but I haven't been unable to find out any further information about the current criminal investigation going on into these matters. Videos showing investigations of the mummies have appeared on the sites Gaia.com and the AlienProject.com. The lead researcher for the group studying the mummies, a man named Konstantin Karakov, gave an interview recently in Russian for the Russian Mirror 24 TV station. Claims that Karatov said that the mummies have 23 pairs of chromosomes like a human, but that their anatomy looks non-human. Today, mummies could be extraterrestrials or biorobots, RT quotes Karakov as saying. In a video on Gaia, Karakov claims that the radiocarbon dating results show that the mummies, the same ones that Nelson says it looks like was made with parts from the Nazca mummy, dates back to around 1700 years. That's another thing. The dating is all over the place. Some people say they're 2,000 years old. This guy's saying they're 1,700 years old. Recently, they're saying they're 1,000 years old. Well, we've got multiple specimens. Which is it? Can we get a chart? You never get the accurate information. Karatkov did not reply to requests for comment, and University Gaia.com claims he is affiliated with St. Petersburg University in Russia. Shows no record of him online. So they're lying, saying this scientist works for the Petersburg University in Russia. No, he doesn't. That was proven. He's a fraud. Great. We've got a fraud doctor that doesn't work where he says he worked, claiming these aliens are real. Another affiliation given the media for Karakov, the National Research University in St. Petersburg, doesn't seem to exist. The National Research University Higher School of Economics has a campus in St. Petersburg, but again, no mention of Karatkov of that university's website. And officials with the university did not return requests for comment. His personal website sells a product called BioWell that he claims can detect human light. He makes no mention his website of being a professor at St. Petersburg University in Russia or a National Research University in St. Petersburg. So we've got fake scientists. So all you people, 11 scientists said that these are real. Yeah, look at the quality of their fake scientists, you dummies. But again, don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good story you can sell. The article goes on to state, while the three-fingered mummies clearly seem to be fakes of some kind, scientists have discovered numerous mummified remains in Peru, including 171 mummies from tombs excavated near the site of Tenajaja, which date back around 1,200 years. While some mummies in Peru have been discovered by scientists, others, such as the ones that may have been used to create these aliens, are stolen by looters who are known to ransack ancient Peruvian tombs before archaeologists, I should say, are able to scientifically excavate them. The United States have restricted the import of artifacts from Peru in an attempt to stem the tide of the looting. While Mario is the con artist who discovered, or so-called discovered, these fake aliens, and his gang may still be pillaging tombs, the situation has been improving, said Ann Peters, a consulting scholar at the University of Pennsylvania Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology. The protection of archaeological sites has greatly improved in the last decade with the establishment of legal requirements for environmental and heritage impact studies, the establishment of the Ministry of Culture, and the employment of more professional archaeologists, Peters said. However, some looters and traffickers in antiques still exist in Peru, as well as in the United States and other countries. And remember, this is 2018. So all the goddamn bottom-feeding, grifter, scammer clowns that are selling this story, send them a link to this article. Maybe they should educate themselves before they jump in to get their pound of flesh and make their money off of fake aliens created by ripping apart dead babies. It's despicable. And by the way, Google works great. Google these things. You'll find this article easily. It's on the first page of results. And this is where it started in 2018, but we're up to 2023. And none of the claims of Jaime Maussan, scammer extraordinaire, have been proven true. Yet a lot of the claims of Jaime Maussan, alien scammer, grifter extraordinaire, have been proven false, but now we're on to new claims, right? We're on to new claims. And isn't it interesting? There is a concept, and I always forget the name of it. 1 second. I always forget the name of this concept. Well, first of all, okay, it's called Brandolini's Law. And this is the problem with this story, and that is Brandolini's law. Brandolini's Law, also referred to as the bullshit asymmetry principle, is the adage that, quote, the amount of energy needed to refute bullshit is an order of magnitude bigger than to produce it, unquote. So that's the problem we're facing. Jaime Maussan comes up with his BS claims. It takes an extreme amount of effort to dispel those claims, but people do. In 2018, this was blown out of the water as fake, as shit. This was completely and totally fake in 2018. But now is when we get to play alien grifter whack-a-mole, because Jaime Maussan pops back up, having been never proven his claims, original claims from 2018. It's 5 years later, and he makes the same claims that were refuted and disputed and shown to be false that he made in 2018, but then he keeps tacking on new claims. Now we've got 1,000 alien corpses in a cave too. It's ridiculous. A little bit more to share with you regarding this. This is an important point as well. Even the person who originally did the documentary on these said they're fakes. The alien corpses are fake. And this is the original person, Barry Fitzgerald, who directed the Alien Mummies of Peru documentary and went boots on the ground in Peru. The alien corpses are fake. We busted a ring of this skullduggery in Peru in 2018. They are using various pieces like the skulls of King Charles spaniels and chopping off the nose and using chemicals to stretch the skin and converting their work to diametrous earth. This dries out the moisture. It got very dangerous for both Steve and I, but we held true and using multiple teams solved it. The DNA test revealed nothing due to the chemicals being used. It corrupted attempts to find the truth. The truth, however, was found in the bones and x-rays. Yes, you can indeed use what I said. So interestingly, even the person that did the original documentary for Gaia TV said, these are fakes. These are fakes created by gluing together body parts. They used all kinds of chemicals that could explain the strange DNA results for sure. But there's more. If you go to any fact check site, I'm just giving you one example. I know some people don't like this particular fact checking site. This is Snopes.com. Did researchers find a mummified three-fingered alien in Nazca, Peru? The claim is false. The website Gaia published a video purporting to show the excavation and examination of a mummified body. Although Gaia at least posed the idea that the mummy was an alien as a question, the disclosed TV website definitely reported the headline, "New Alien Mummy Discovered in Peru Near Nazca Lines." Mexican journalist Jaime Maussan, who reported the existence of the NASA mummy to Gaia and his features in the video, led an event called Be Witness, at which a mummified body, purportedly that of an alien, was unveiled. Later, though, that alien discovery was debunked, and the mummified corpse was shown to be that of a human child. They're talking about the Roswell slides there. Forensic scientist Jose de Jesus Zalsa Benitez was one of the lead researchers behind the debunked 2015 discovery, presenting his findings at the Be Witness event. Benitez also took part in Gaia's Nazca project. So again, my reporting is accurate. The same fake, well, he's not a fake doctor, I think, and that's the scary part. The same shady doctor expert was used in the 2015 hoax is being used in this hoax. Claiming that 3 fingers of the mummy makes us think that the system does not belong to the human species. The previous discovery of mummies with elongated skulls in Peru, like that shown in the Gaia video, has prompted wild speculation about alien species, but anthropologists have explained that elongated skulls are the result of ancient practice of artificial cranial deformation. Finally, Gaia.com website has a long history of providing a platform for false and spurious pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, and paranormal claims. The company charges $95 a year for unlimited access to videos about remote viewing, contact with angels, alien abduction, crop circles, and the like. And this is quite an old article. it's been clearly established that these mummies were glued together human body parts. And we'll move on. Yeah, I've got one more article to share with you. This is, I think, the best article, and all the sources that I'm showing you are in the description of the video. This one's titled A Review of Jaime Maussan's Alien Mummy from Peru. The following is a quick look at a strange but popular story making the rounds on the internet, mostly on Facebook. I have no doubt that the average person would look at this and see it for what it is, a hoax. But the methods behind the hoax are fascinating. The video goes on to say, so when a video and photos of a Peruvian mummy that has an elongated skull and 3 long, slender fingers debuted by Jaime Maussan, the entire fringe side of Facebook is up like a Christmas tree. I followed it loosely, but I thought I might have time to review what's out there on the topic. First, the mummy, there are actually a couple of different alleged remains, but I'll stick to the more recent mummy, is being presented to the press, and not just any press, but would-be news outlets that specialize on the fringe and the crack pottery of aliens and Bigfoot like Gaia. This is one of the warning signs of pseudoscience. The discovery is pitched directly to the media. Secondly, the mummy looks odd, like it's coated in plaster. That was later reported to be, yeah. And here, there's an excellent report written by Rodolfo Salas Gismondi of the Department of Vertebrate Paleontology from the Natural History Museum in Lima, Peru, titled, I'm not even going to try to read that. This is a fake alien hand that Maussan's scientists determined anatomically correct and functional. The report is in Spanish, but here are some of the highlights. Experts and expert identification says the bones of the mummy's hand are from 2 individuals. At least one is a subadult, probably a neonate. In other words, a dead baby. The bones of the hand are actually arm and leg bones of a neonatal child. The bones and the fingers are from metacarpal and phalanges of an adult. The bones are also arranged poorly with fibulas on either side of the metacarpals. This is a sort of mistake you can expect from amateurs creating a plastered fake alien mummy. Maussan and company mixed the long bones of a child with the finger bones of an adult. And this is scientifically proven. Fake, fraud. And if this wasn't enough, Nouria TV in French revealed DNA results that showed the mummies to be human, 100% human. No bananas, no giraffes, no shaved squirrel monkeys, and no aliens. So, again, at least one DNA result comes back completely and totally human. So why are we having arguments about human-alien hybrids if one test result says completely and totally human? It's to muddy the waters, friends. It's to get in the way of people getting to the truth. Like, oh no, we did a second DNA test and it showed it's only 50% human. And we don't know what the other 50% is. That means it's some kind of hybrid. No, bullshit. And again, these are independent researchers. Just human, not alien hybrid, just 100% human. And this is the problem with this situation, that it's as if you just want to believe they're aliens, you can dismiss all the independent experts and believe Jaime Maussan's paid fake experts, like the fake Russian scientist. He used a literal fake Russian scientist to sell this story, right? What did he think? That the people in the United States wouldn't check into that guy's background or what? Yeah, and I'm aware of that. Crypto Alchemist is here. The Mexican alien mummies are actually from Peru. Well, I've stated that multiple times. Maybe you missed that, or maybe I neglected to, in which case, yes, they come. I'm calling them the Mexican aliens because that's what they've become famous. The aliens from Mexico. The corpses and bodies were originally stolen from Peru, not Mexico. And, we have such an overwhelming amount of supportive evidence that these things are fake. But what is happening now is what we're getting is new claims being made and research by proclamation. Oh, these 11 scientists said these are real. That's research by proclamation. Real research scientists wouldn't just say they were real. They would write a paper on it, a peer-reviewed paper. Guess what we don't get in this case? A paper, let alone a peer-reviewed paper. This despicable, disgusting hoax, it just goes on and on. And I don't get how people are jumping into profit from this, especially. You know, the bottom feeding grifters like Jimmy Church and others. Come on, Jimmy Church. You can't do what, and by the way, why can't the people profiting the most from this story, and I don't mean Jaime Maussan and Gaia TV, they're the ones selling the fake story. Of course, they're going to play dumb and pretend they don't know about all these independent experts that have said these things are 100% fake. But when you get to the bottom feeding grifters, they have to pretend that they don't know how to use Google. Now, I know Jimmy Church isn't the brightest bulb, but I think he knows what a Google search is. Same for Christina Gomez, same for Third Phase of Moon. And isn't it interesting that those people profiting the most, besides Jaime Maussan and Gaia TV, I mean, you know, pushing this story, pumping this up as, oh, maybe it's true, right? Let's do that dance. Well, I'm not saying it's true, but we have to look at the science. But then they don't look at the science. They look at the bullshit fake science coming from fake scientists like Jaime Maussan's fake Russian doctor, right? This story is incredible. And again, now we've got brand new claims being made, right? There's a new animation that shows there's brains inside the skull, so it can't be a llama skull. Well, they could have made a new one. That's another issue. Again, there's so much ambiguity. How many specimens do you have? Can we see all the specimens? Is there a chain of custody? There's no chain of custody. This is a grift. It's a scam. They're not going to show you, oh, you know that mummy that those other experts said was a ripped apart llama skull slapped on top of a human, like, you know, skeleton. Oh, those guys were wrong. Here's a CT scan showing there's brains inside and it can't be a llama skull. Well, maybe they made another one and did a CT scan to dispute the debunk. When your story that you're making lots of money on, and let's be clear, millions and millions of dollars have been made on this story so far. And you know, to the clowns that like to take shots at, well, you're making money too, Steve. And yeah, I'm not making millions of dollars bringing people the truth behind these scams. You see the difference? Millions of dollars for the grifters, a couple bucks for me. And by the way, we're happy to have it. I would do this regardless, but it's nice to have some resources available. And we want to take a moment to thank Lord Ludacris again for the kind and generous $4.99 super chat. He says, great work and awesome show. Well, we appreciate your kindness, generosity, and support. We also want to make sure that we thank Charlie Weiser. That's the second time now I've played Charlie Weiser's video about this ridiculousness, but I thought it important to do so again. At Like It Matters on Twitter, follow Charlie Weiser, great researcher, doing a lot of great things to dispel the ridiculous fake stories that are going around. So, you know, what is the cure for this? Well, one cure for this would be if anybody that has ethics in the so-called UFO community actually stood up, right? Like be a man and say, this is too far. Cutting up dead human babies to sell a fake alien story is too much. We can't have that here. And by the way, why is Jaime Maussan allowed to even be here? He scammed the UFO community out of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2015 with the Roswell slides hoax. Completely and totally fake story, and he's going to pretend it can't be a mummy. The placard said it was a goddamn mummy. You know, the placard that they blurred out so people couldn't see it while they were selling the pay-per-view event on the internet. And 5 minutes after somebody got a clear shot of the so-called Roswell slide, 5 minutes. Well, not 5 minutes, 5 hours. Hours after they first showed the first real high resolution scans, somebody de-blurred that placard and showed that that was not an alien. That was a boy, a dead child mummy on display in a museum. So essentially, Jaime Maussan made hundreds of thousands of dollars scamming everybody with a fake alien in 2015. Now he's back. Do you know why he's back? Because there were no consequences. There was no jail time for scamming everybody. There was no being banished from selling UFO stories or alien stories anymore. He just rolled into a new, let's sell this other alien scam with human dead bodies, and we'll buy them. We'll buy access to these dead aliens, alleged dead aliens. We'll buy access to them and make documentaries, do presentations, live events, television shows, podcasts, all monetized, telling people these are aliens with our fake Russian doctor, with another doctor that's on Jaime Maussan's payroll, with even an American doctor signed up for this shit. And by the way, I'm going after her. So far, crickets. There was an American doctor who said positive things in one of the Gaia TV documentaries. I can't remember if it was the University of Chicago or something. But we're going to find her. And I want to get on the record statements after she reviews my evidence of the truth behind these things. And I'm going to want to know how much money she was paid to say what she said. Because remember, the only people saying anything other than these are fake as shit, essentially, pardon my French, I'm not a scientist, right? Or an anthropologist or a doctor. They all basically said they're fake as hell. These things are, remember, classified as hell? These aliens are fake as hell. So the only people not saying fake as hell are people who are directly getting paid by the grift squad that are selling, promoting and selling this story, Gaia TV and Jaime Maussan. And then we get the lower grift members, right? There's a scale to the grift. You got the grifters, it's a grift pyramid. You got the grifters at the top of the pyramid, Jaime Maussan and Gaia TV. And then right at the bottom of the pyramid, you got like Christina Gomez go, oh, can I sell that fake story about the aliens made from dead babies? Can I sell it too? I can make some money here selling this fake story about dead aliens, about real aliens made from dead babies. I can make some money. And Jimmy Church sniffs around. I smell UFO dollars. Let's just pretend that we don't know that these aliens are made from dead babies so we can get our money. It's goddamn despicable. It's goddamn disgusting. Welcome to UFOs. Just when you think that this shit couldn't get any slimier, in comes assholes using literal dead babies to sell a fake alien story. Nothing is off limits at this. Nothing at this point would surprise me. Jaime Maussan, not the first time he's used dead people to sell a fake alien story. By the way, he's used dead monkeys too, right? And dead animals glued back together as fairies, right? That was another one of the stories that I wanted to touch upon because it's funny. I remember one of the people that were selling the fairy story was L.A. Marzulli, right? Trying to connect it to his Nephilim story, right? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And there's a documentary about that that's also for sale, right? And that's Watchers 10. L.A. Marzulli made a lot of money selling this Jaime Maussan bullshit. Some Christian, right? And by the way, Jaime Maussan still owes me an interview. He suddenly canceled twice when he realized that he would have to answer some pretty hard questions about some of the shit he's been selling. Mr. Bible and aliens and UFOs, right?
These creatures are very, very strange.
And by the way, this has nothing to do with the dead baby alien scam. This is a whole totally different scam. There's so many scams in this shit. This is the fairy scam. these weird creatures. And this was sold by Jaime Maussan and others, including L.A. Marzulli in his Watcher series. L.A. Marzulli would later condemn these as complete and total fakes, but not before he got his money. And I wonder, as a Christian, did he give all the money he made selling this scam back or not?
Anomalous.
It is the age of revelations.
Oh, yeah. Revelations of bullshit. That's what we're getting to. Yep. These are elongated skulls. And by the way, L.A. Marzulli once made a lot of DNA claims that he backed off of. The DNA results or the DNA testing were done by an anonymous lab, right?
Bizarre creatures.
Oh, here's the Jaime Maussan fairies. Oh, these are real fairies, right? Listen, Christina Gomez, Gomer, whatever your name is, Jimmy Church, Third Phase of Moon, all you clowns selling this stupid fake alien mummy story. This is another of the fake stupid stories that Jaime Maussan came up with. Oh, they're demons. They're or they're fairies. We're not sure if they're demons or fairies. It's so ridiculous.
The false perception of reality exposed.
Oh, I hope this isn't copyrighted music. I'm going to get a copyright claim. It's already failed. Sometimes that helps.
Giants. Back in December of 2008, LA, Steve Quayle was on the program.
Oh, we got George Snorri helped sell this garbage. Of course, Snorri was it. Oh, what do you got? You got demon creatures. They look like demon creatures, fairies. Can I get some money? Says Snorri. And they said, yeah, we'll pay you something to be in the doc. Oh, all right. Them alien, those are demons or fairies. That shit's real. Give me my check.
Another bro of mine laying down fire, and I start firing.
Oh, the Kandahar giant story. I forgot that was in this bullshit too. We got demons and fairies and giants, man.
Inside a cave or the mouth of a cave.
All right, this is enough. I wanted to focus on the story of that one story in this documentary is about these. These are the fake fairies. These were fakes. And again, Jaime Maussan's fake doctors or real doctors that are just shady ass people that'll take a check to say anything said that these were real. They weren't constructed. Well, these were completely and totally debunked as glued together, sculpted, made from animal parts and animal bones, bird wings, bat wings, all kinds of shit went into this fake hoax. But hey, don't let Jaime Maussan's history of fooling people by gluing together, bones. This one's bad enough, gluing together a bunch of, animal bones and pretending they're some kind of creature, right? This is P.T. Barnum shit. This is the Fiji mermaid, just modernized, right? Well, people don't believe in mermaids anymore, but they might believe in little demons if L.A. Marzulli is selling the story, because L.A. Marzulli covers demons and the Nephilim and the giants and all that shit from the Bible that really just, to me, is just fables. But hey, what do I know? I don't claim to be a biblical scholar like L.A. Marzulli, who, by the way, fell for this shit hook, line, and sinker. Real great discernment there, right? Frequent guest on Jimmy Church show, but couldn't come here to answer some real or hard questions about some of the shit that he sells. But this is just another of the fake Jaime Maussan stories. Then there was the marmoset monkey. They used a little monkey in another fake story, the body of a little monkey that was shaved down, dried out, and they pretended it was an alien. And it was a monkey. It wasn't an alien. That was another of the stories, right? I'm going to see if I can find that real quick. I don't know if we'll be able to find that. Yeah, here. If we just go to his Wikipedia, Jaime Maussan, we find mention of the alien, the mummy, or excuse me, the monkey. Maussan was involved in a specimen dubbed Metaspec creature, which later turned out to be a skinned monkey, as well as a demon fairy. We just saw the demon fairy in 2016, which turned out to be the remains of a bat, wooden sticks, epoxy, and other unknown elements. In 2015, Maussan led an event called Be Witness, where the mummified body claimed to be of an alien child was unveiled. The mummified corpse was later identified as a human child. In 2017, Maussan appeared in a video hosted by Gaia TV and unveiled two allegedly non-human beings to Mexico's first Congress. This is in 2023. He unveiled the public hearing regarding UFOs. Maussan claimed that these were mummified corpses found in a diatom mine in the city of Cusco, Peru, near Nazca, and were believed to be more than 1,000 years old. Maussan claimed that scientists at the National Autonomous University of Mexico came to the conclusion that, in his words, the corpses are not part of our terrestrial evolution, and that almost a third of their DNA is of unknown origin. However, Juliet Fierro, physics researcher at UNAM, stated that the university, this is great. What about those 11 scientists? Julieta Fierro, a physics researcher at UNAM, stated that the university never endorsed such claims and that Maussan's data made no sense. UNAM further republished their September 2017 statement specifying that they did not make any conclusion as to the origins of a sample sent to them for carbon-14 testing, and that no other kind of testing was performed by them. Wired reported that mummies presented by Maussan are believed to be an elaborate hoax made of human and animal bones. So there you have it. And I'm going to see if I can't find this Metaspec creature, because that was another interesting hoax. Complete and total hoax. Oh, above top secret. On Above Top Secret, it was confirmed as a hoax. A veterinary assistant featured in the whole Metaspec creature brouhaha, Angel Palacios Nunez, is, according to Alejandro France, in fact, Orso Marina Ruiz, the nephew of Mario Marino, and a taxidermist. So they sold this Metaspec creature as an alien, and they even lied, right? They lied, saying that, I found a video. Here, let me get this make this available. We'll just share from this tab. This is the Metaspec creature, and it turns out to be a monkey. But Jaime Maussan had a fake doctor, fake scientist claim that it was aliens.
If it's not a primate, what is it? Here we're facing something terrestrial or something unknown. As a scientist, I personally have to say that it's probably a species in evolution or an unknown species.
Unknown species. No, it was a monkey. And this fake scientist is a taxidermist. For those unaware, those are the people who like stuff, a bear if you shoot one. So he knows how to make, realistic looking displays of animals. Maybe those skills were used to create this hoax.
O una especie desconocida para nosotros.
And why would a real doctor or a real scientist use a fake name and give a fake work history? Oh, because he wasn't a real scientist or a real doctor. This was another of the
DNA
hoaxes
testing
sold by Jaime.
confirmed this theory. No identifiable genetic material was found, and the results cannot be explained.
No identifiable genetic material. And there's a reason for that.
We had nothing. And then it's a surprise for us. What happened? I don't know.
This Monster Quest investigation is...
Yeah, so this is from Monster Quest. Wasn't an alien. Turns out to be a monkey. This creature wasn't real. It was a monkey pushed by Jaime Maussan and a fake doctor who claimed that this was an alien. And this is just another in a long line of fake stories pushed by Jaime Maussan. But we can see this evolution. He graduated from using animal bones glued back together, like bats and wood sticks and shit, to let's just use dead babies to sell the next story so that they can't say that they're not real. Or for whatever reason, they moved on to using human corpses. Human corpses used to sell this latest fake story. So if you choose to believe that these aliens are real, what you're saying is that a man who has brought completely and totally fake stories for decades somehow stumbled upon real proof of the alien visitation on Earth somehow. This time it's for real. And, you know, the odds of that happening are just absolutely astronomical. And I want to make sure that we recognize and understand that. And, you know, some of the claims that are made, original claims or other claims. Yeah. In 2017, the same man made claims of discovering aliens in Peru, but investigators concluded that the evidence was of human origin. So one more thing to share here. I think that's it. Oh, yeah, we got it. And this is another interesting piece, right? Oh, we got new animations, so they're real again. Or are these the original animations? Remember, there was talk of, oh, they got eggs in their stomach. Well, that was never proven. They could have just as easily been stones, round stones, balls, whatever, props, because this is the illusion of aliens. Remember this first one? Yeah, they cut off the fingers and thumb, and that was proven. Non-humanoid bodies found in Peru. And these are more of Jaime Maussan's hoaxes and fakes. Claims of the discovery of alien species are being made by this journalist, and not for the first time. Yeah, and we've seen his other claims. Grift master extraordinaire Jaime Maussan. I'm going to read, for the benefit of our audio podcast listeners, I'm going to read the closed captioning that's in English. I'm speaking in Spanish. I want to highlight the advances on the beings with humanoid characteristics found in Peru and the finding of 2 new species, which all have been studied. This is to say, it's not only one species, but 3. So again, the claims get grander and grander and grander. Now it's not 1 alien species, it's 3 alien species. And now we not only have these 3 alien bodies, but there's hundreds, if not thousands, of alien corpses in a cave somewhere in Peru. And we're going to go on an expedition. The claims just keep getting grander and grander. And remember, he says, oh, these were studied. Well, we saw what happened when we studied the monkey alien. It was a fake doctor. We saw what happened when he was pushing other fake stories. He used a fake Russian doctor. And he made claims that certain universities in Mexico or South America sort of, signed off that these were aliens or these weren't human. And then the university had to come out and say, we didn't say that shit. Say something else. There are more. The discovery is much larger than we previously thought. Yeah, now they got hundreds or thousands of alien corpses in a cave somewhere. Sure. Even though the first ones are fake, maybe a few of the next few hundred will be real. Earlier in 2023, Maussan exhibited 2 boxes to Mexican politicians claiming they contained extraterrestrials. This is from Sky News, by the way. Fair use. In 2017, when the journalist presented similar items in Peru, investigators said they were dolls of human making. Glued together human body parts. That's what they were. And that's what they still are. The Chamber of Deputies have been criticized for devoting time to this with other matters considered more urgent. And here we see some more shots. So they got new animations claiming that there is brain matter and tissue inside those skulls, and it can't be an animal skull. Well, I beg to differ. I really beg to differ. So what we get is a pattern of Jaime Maussan using, let's see, a fake doctor from Russia, a fake doctor from Mexico, lying and saying universities said things that they never said, and then the university has to come out and correct them. We have him selling fake demon fairy. We have him selling a fake alien that was actually a mummy, or excuse me, a monkey body. And now we have him selling these fakes, which are made, again, from desecrated, mutilated human corpses glued back together, including, you got to make sure you include this, dead babies. People dug up dead babies and then ripped dead babies apart. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but I don't know how else to get this across to you, how despicable and disgusting this is. And again, where is anybody in the so-called UFO community that actually has a conscience? Where is anybody with ethics to stand up and say, this shit is too much? You can't be digging up and ripping apart dead babies and gluing them back together to sell a fake alien story. That's too much. Where is everybody? I feel very alone out here. Everybody else jumped in to get their bit of the money, right? We got Jimmy Church and Third Phase Moon and Christina Gomer and a bunch of other people jumping in going, I'll take some of that alien money. Who cares if they dug up and ripped apart dead babies to make this whole scam work? At some point, you have to ask yourself, is this the kind of person that I want to follow? Is this the kind of person I want to watch? And by the way, I don't want to be too harsh on you people who watch the Grift Squad that I'm discussing here, Christina Gomer, Jimmy Church, Third Phase of Moon, and some of these, Chris Lido, and some of these other channels that jumped right in to get their money, is you're saying it's okay. When you watch or click on one of their videos or give them any money, especially, you're saying it's okay that they co-signed on digging up and ripping apart dead babies and gluing them back together to look like aliens. Make sure you rip apart a llama skull and slap it on the top, rip off their head, right? When you watch any of the people that are positively promoting and positively profiting from these stories, this completely and totally fake story, you are saying that what they are doing is a good thing and you are rewarding them. And believe it or not, even if you're not directly giving any of those people money, including Jaime Maussan or Gaia TV, Jimmy Church, Christina Gomez, Third Phase of Moon, and all the other Grift Squad members that are jumping in. Chris Lido jumped in to profit from this. Then he got such pushback, he took his video down. Oh, I got fooled. They weren't real aliens, right? But what all of you people who are watching these people are saying is, it's okay that they co-signed a scam that involved digging up and ripping apart dead babies. They need to make some money. I click on their videos and help them make money. Congratulations, you're part of the goddamn problem. It's not just the people doing this that are responsible. We live in an attention-based economy. And those who are profiting from this dead baby scam of aliens created with dead babies, those who are profiting from it are saying it's perfectly okay to do that as long as I get some money out of it. It's despicable, it's disgusting, and it shows you how deeply dark it gets here in UFO land and how desperate some disgusting, despicable scumbags are to make $1. You're willing to co-sign on this shit? All of you that are willing to co-sign. If you do not at least share, and by the way, I'm fine with somebody going 50-50. Hey, they may be real. Let's look at the proof they're not real. And then let's look at Jaime Maussan's proof or whatever, even though, why should we believe Jaime Maussan, who lied and said this Russian doctor said these are real and these couldn't be human? Nobody can find him at those universities. Oh, he's a fake doctor, right? Then he used another fake doctor. Why should we believe the science coming from Jaime Maussan? There is no science coming from Jaime Maussan. There's obfuscation, there's ambiguity, there's muddying the waters, and there is a deliberate attempt to deceive so that he can profit. He's paying people to say shit. He's paying people to pretend to be doctors. Why should we listen to anything that he has to say? We need to listen to the independent voices, the independent experts, people who are experts in anatomy, people who are experts at reading x-rays, people who are anthropologists, people who are archaeologists, people who are medical doctors. Every independent expert, and by the way, we've had independent experts from all those fields that looked at these, all said that these are hoaxes. These are fakes created by a man with a history of creating or profiting from fake aliens. Everybody independent that you ask to look at this situation looks at the evidence. And remember, the x-rays are online. You can tell just from the x-rays that these are glued together, human body parts put together wrong. We can't trust anything that Jaime Maussan is saying, but we can trust these independent experts who are experts in their respective field. I've seen anthropologists chime in, experts in anatomy, anthropology, archaeology, paleontology, and more have chimed in and said, these are fakes. This is ridiculous. And many of them share my view that it's completely and totally despicable and a scumbag thing to do, to dig up dead people and glue them back together as aliens. Most agree with me. Christina Gomez doesn't agree with me. She thinks it's okay to dig up dead people and rip their bodies apart and jam them back together to make some money. Jimmy Church believes that. Third Phase of Moon believes it's okay to dig up dead babies and glue them back together, make them look like an alien. As long as they get their money, they're okay with this shit. It's not okay. And I think I've said all that I need to say here. And you people who are supporting those people are also supporting this despicable attempt to deceive people, this despicable, unethical, immoral, illegal behavior. But hey, as long as Jaime Maussan gets some money, right? As long as Jimmy Church gets some money, he's not doing too well with his numbers over there. He's got to do something to survive. And Third Phase of Moon are never going to change. They don't care if human babies were mutilated to make this scam work. They're buddies with Jaime Maussan. They have a deal. Remember, they have a deal with Jaime Maussan. They can share Jaime's stuff, crap, fake stories, and Jaime can share their crap, fake stories. And we're all making money together. Isn't it great? And and Christina Gomez, congratulations. She's on track to be very successful at selling completely and totally fake stories from scumbags and con artists and scammers to stupid people. Congratulations, honey. You know, everybody has that crossroads where they have to decide if they're going to go to the Grift Squad or not. I used to think there was hope for her. She's long gone. She's never coming back. She's going to be the next Linda Moulton Howdy Doody. Because Linda Moulton Howe is going to croak any day now, and there's going to need a woman to sell fake alien stories. Congratulations. You know, maybe Linda Moulton Howe can pass the grift torch over to Christina now. She's ready to take her place, and God knows what she did to get where she is. Oh, I got to cozy up to Jimmy Church, and hey, all I have to do is forget to talk about all the scammers that Jimmy Church hosted, all the despicable people. There's literally people like David Wilcock going on Jimmy Church promoting GoFundMe scams, promoting PayPal donation scams. No, let's not talk about any of that. No, let's just take the bump, the Jimmy Church grease bump, right? You can keep that, by the way. She deserves it. Whatever she did to earn that, she earned it. So we're gonna take a moment to take a very, very short break. I like to remind people that and you know, I hate that I feel the need to verbalize this, but these people selling fake stories, you know, make orders of magnitude more income than my show does. Because remember that crossroads I talked about? Everybody decides, are they going to go to the Grift Squad or not? I took the road less traveled. And by the way, I don't regret that. And I decided to blaze my own path. And I decided it's okay to cover strange and esoteric subjects as long as you keep some form of ethics and morality intact while doing so. Don't lie to your audience. Don't leave out inconvenient facts that won't help you sell the story to more people. Don't encourage people to dig up dead babies and rip them apart and glue them back together. I mean, that wasn't on my list of shit, but here we are. Here we are. All right, I did not endorse or co-sign or profit from dead babies being dug up, ripped apart, and glued back together again so that I could make some money. I decided to have ethics and morality. And I hate to be so harsh on those people, but nobody's calling a spade a spade. And by the way, I have nothing to lose. Everything that I've spoken about tonight is the honest to God truth as I see it. You may disagree and think that those Grift Squad members are doing great selling fake stories that you love. Well, congratulations. You're one of the low information, stupid people that they target with their nonsense. And you probably wouldn't like it here because we have things like facts, evidence, you know, corroborating testimony, chain of custody, you know, the weight of evidence. I don't know. I hate to verbalize that the Grift Squad road is making 10 or 100 or 1,000 times more money than you can if you decide to keep your ethics and morality. And, you know, these people are goddamn soulless. Only a soulless scumbag would sign off on making money from this shit, this level of depravity, disgusting grift shit. It's ridiculous. But this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. And while I'm thankful for all the support that we do get, we can always use more. So if you, like me, are tired of seeing the Grift Squad win, we could use additional resources to cover these things more often and better. And we hope that you will agree that somebody should be doing the right thing when so many people are doing the wrong thing. We hope that you will agree that somebody should stand up and say, this shit is wrong. I did so tonight, and it's about time more people did that. But to be honest, I can count the people that I think actually still have a soul left in this thing and actually have at least some level of conscience, ethics, and morality. I can count that on one hand, right? As opposed to the Grift Squad that grows bigger every day. Look, it's the easy road. Just sign off on dead babies being used. What's the big deal? So we're a viewer-supported show, and we would appreciate your support because I'm tired of seeing the Grift Squad win. And we can use more resources so that we can report on these things more often and better. And we appreciate all of you who are supporting us. We're going to take a quick break. I have to always remind people that the show is not over. I will be right back. And by the way, I was reminded by some of those repeats that we started doing that I used to spend a lot more time interacting with the audience, but I get tied up in these presentations and don't do that as much. I've got plenty of more time to share with you. So get your comments and your questions ready in the live chat. Please put them in all capital letters. I'll be taking comments and questions. You can ask me anything. We can talk about this. You can share your opinions of this. Am I wrong? Am I too upset about this? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think in the live chat. We'll be right back to discuss all that we have covered tonight.
Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show Send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal, or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Campion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truth Seekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Now there's a great way to support these broadcasts and show your support. Please be sure and check out our merchandise store. Links to our 2 merchandise online stores are in the links to this video or podcast. The Amazon storefront ships super quickly in the United States, Great Britain, and in many more places. Amazon may not ship to your country or location. If that's the case, hit our second merchandise link in the description and visit our Redbubble storefront. Merchandise from our Redbubble storefront ships worldwide, but may take longer than Amazon. We've got a great deal of super high quality merchandise for you to choose from, including t-shirts, phone cases, sweatshirts, and even pillows. The feedback from our products have been overwhelmingly great. Quality products and fast shipping. People all over the world are buying some merchandise and showing their support of the show. Praise the cash! Praise the cash! Praise the cash! We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors who are buying some merchandise and helping us to continue this journey. Thanks for being here. This is Truth Seekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like, and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat group during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truth Seekers. Truth Seekers.
Okay, friends, we are back, and I'll be taking comments and questions from the live chat. And if you are watching on a replay or you're listening to our audio podcast, let me know in the comments. Is my stance on this too harsh? I really don't think so. I thought a lot about this. And one of the other issues that I just want to touch on briefly is that, you know, I'm in the same space with the Grift Squad, and I'm supposed to compete with the Grift Squad. And, you know, one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that if you want to win in anything competitive, and let's be very clear that it's a competitive world. If you want to win and you're competing with other people, you have to be willing to do anything that they're willing to do. So what I'm faced with is a situation where I have to ask myself, like, in order to make money for my show, what about this alien mummy story? Am I supposed to just sign off on dead babies being dug up and ripped apart and glued back together again so I can make some money and be as successful as the Grift Squad who are willing to do that? And, you know, we all have our breaking point. And part of me, if I'm not willing to do that, and by the way, just a note to the Grift Squad, because I occasionally, you know, get some of your stupid people, you know, the stupid people that follow the Grift Squad will come and, you know, argue with me. You know, if you guys are going to do slimy, disgusting, despicable things like this, then I'm going to talk about it. And I got more bad news for you. You know, I have heavily invested a lot of the support, or all of the support, that we get here. We've got this new set. We'll be taking in-person guests soon. I have another set in office. I'm not going anywhere. So if you want me to not bust your balls for being a slime ball, then I got a message for you. Maybe stop doing slimy shit, like helping a career scammer with a new scam that involves human remains, right? If you don't want me to talk about you, maybe you don't do those things. Because if I'm going to be forced to compete with goddamn slime balls that are doing shit like this, then I'm going to talk about it. And if you don't like it, get used to it, Scam Squad. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here for a long time. And you can keep doing the slimy, scammy stuff, and I'll keep reporting on it. That's the way it's going to go. And I'm okay with that. And by the way, as far as competing, I'm not in the competition with slime balls and scumballs. These people aren't real investigative journalists. If they were, they'd give you all the information, not just the part of it that they want that will help them sell the story and make the most money. I'm not in competition with them. I'm in the same space as them, but I don't compete with scumbags and slime balls and people that are willing to go. Look at the length of this depravity that we have gotten to here. Dead babies? That's all you need to do is desecrate dead babies to make some alien dollars? I'm okay with that. There are people that are okay with this shit. And again, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to keep talking about this. The beatings will continue until ethics improves. And now we're going to be taking some comments and questions from the live chat. So please put them in all capital letters. I'm going to spend some time here with the live chat, sort of get caught up. And we'll be reading any remaining super chats and thanking our kind and generous benefactors here. Yeah, there's some things I won't do to praise the cash, and one of them is sign off on that it's okay to mutilate human corpses. You know, call me kooky. I'm not okay with that shit. I'll never be okay with that. Paul Shields says, seems like Jaime's Peruvian mummy dealer is in trouble, but Jaime himself can just claim ignorance. Yes, Al Garay is here and says, get used to it, Scam Squad. Yes, Scam Squad, says Crypto Alchemists, right? Lunar Sparkle, I guess, commenting on our furniture here, said, we had the same leatherette chair a few years ago. One of our cats used to scratch their claws on it. These are actually white leather. I've never had white leather chairs. I would have preferred black leather chairs, but I like black everything. Look at me. I always wear dark clothes. You know why I like dark clothes and wearing all black most of the time? You don't have to think about color coordination. It's kind of like that principle that I think Steve Jobs and many other geniuses just wear the same clothes every day, right? Yeah, Randy is asking, so how much legal trouble can Jaime get into with this mummy garbage? Well, I know there's an open criminal investigation by the Peruvian authorities, but I haven't gotten an update on that. I'm going to try to get an update on that. We'll bring an update to you, Randy. Rain Dimensions. The bodies are literally Frankenstein's monster with the grave robbing and body parts. Maybe Mexican Frankenstein is more appropriate. Maybe Massenstein monsters. Yeah, it is just, it's ghastly that they were okay with doing this, and it's ghastly that the lower rung of the grift squad grift pyramid is okay with chiming in, like, oh yeah, let's help Jaime sell this garbage story, right? Miss Therese, thanks for being a member, says, I joined mid-rant. He calms me down somehow. I'm satisfied to know that he's willing to take them on. Well, thank you, Miss Therese, right? Steve Nicholson is taking something, I don't want to say it out loud, but I'll put it on the screen, gummy, and zoning out to Truthseekers, the perfect combination. Well, yeah. Yeah, Crypto Alchemist says, question for you, Stephen. Are you afraid they're going to send the demon fairy? I said, the demon fairies is funnier. Yeah, I better shut up or Jaime Maussan's going to send the demon fairies with me, right? Car Tot is here. I'm with you. I think that's what you're saying. This entire thing is so disgusting. Yeah. William Runner says, I don't know how these people sleep at night, Truth Seekers. So glad you took the high road. Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate in that I learned a long time ago, William Runner, it's always best to live well as you can beneath your means so that you don't have to do slimy things for money. And by the way, I learned that in the corporate world. Corporate world's no different. You got to be willing to just stab people in the back, do whatever you got to do to climb that ladder. I always joke that I was very successful in the corporate world at one thing. I was great at one thing in the corporate world, shooting my mouth off and getting fired. You know how there's always something at a job that's just like the way they do things is just so stupid, it makes no sense. I would bitch about it. I'm like, why do we do this way? This makes no sense. It takes all this time. There's much more efficient ways to do that. They don't like that. Just shut up and sit there and do your drone job. Don't, talk about the logic or anything like that. So I would shoot my mouth off after. I would hold it in for as long as I could. Usually I lasted a few years at most of my corporate jobs before the cubicle walls would start closing in on me, and I would just say, I can't do this shit anymore. I'm going to start bitching, right? Yeah, as long as UFO Twitter can be active tweeting about it. That's another problem. You got all these stupid people on Twitter. Oh, by the way, there was one other thing that I wanted to share about Jaime Maussan's history. Even covering these Mexican hearings, the Grift Squad, and I mentioned that I know that Jaime Maussan's stupid Mexican UFO hearing part 2 was covered by Jimmy Church and Christina Gomez. They just forgot to tell you that during that hearing, Jaime Maussan was showing long debunked videos of UFOs that were long debunked. And here, I'm going to share this one more time. There is a list of Jaime Maussan's hoaxes, and this is by no means a complete list. It was made by our friend Scott from In the Field. These are a list of hoaxes by Jaime Maussan. I'll see if I can't make that a little bigger. I don't know that I can. No, it's not going to get bigger. No, sorry. All right. Well, this is on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambion. It's a great way to follow me on Twitter. It's a great idea to follow me on Twitter because if you can't read on the screen anything that I'm sharing or talking about, it's usually on my Twitter. So there's this huge list of scams and hoaxes and completely and totally 100% fake story that Jaime Maussan has been involved in. Why would you co-sign that as a content creator? Oh, that's right, because you're a slime ball and you want the money and you don't care that this guy's been caught how many times, right? Absolutely ridiculous. And there was one other thing that I wanted to share. And of course, it's always that last thing that I cannot find. But it was, I know who shared it. So let me see if I can't find it. Hopefully they haven't been tweeting too much because it may be pretty far back. Yeah, pretty far back. Yeah, by the way, there's another skeleton going around that's from Russia that looks like a reptilian. That's a whole nother thing. But interesting that Jaime Maussan, article pulled no punches on Jaime Maussan's alien mummy coverage. This is from who is Axelrod, Go Kick Rocks. 1 second here. Let me share my screen. So Maussan and some Mexican lawmakers became the subject of international ridicule in September when he presented 2 boxes with supposed mummies found in Peru. He, alongside with others, claimed that they were non-human beings that are not part of our terrestrial evolution. In 2017, Maussan made similar claims in Peru, and a report by that county's prosecutor's office found that the bodies were actually, quote, recently manufactured dolls, which have been covered with a mixture of paper and synthetic glue to simulate the presence of skin. The report added that the figures were almost certainly human-made and that, quote, they were not the remains of ancestral aliens that they have tried to present, unquote. The bodies were not publicly unveiled at the time, so it is unclear if they're the same that were presented to Mexico's Congress. On Tuesday, Dr. Daniel Mendoza showed photographs of x-rays of what he said was a non-human being. Maussan said it was a new species and it did not have lungs or ribs. And this is from an AP News article. So at the very least, some people are not jumping right in to just sell the fake story. Some people are debunking it, which I guess is good to see. And it's interesting that during that Mexican UFO hearing, Jaime Maussan showed some UFO videos, and one of them was a balloon. And here I found it. And thanks to Go Kicks Rocks 88, who is Axelrod, on Twitter, who shares some good information. The video is alleged to show UFOs presented at today's Mexican UFO hearing. And Go Kicks Rock says, correctly, by the way, I checked into this, somebody needs to get a handle on Maussan. The videos have been debunked as flares and a Yoda balloon. So the videos that Jaime Maussan
we have some
Jaime Maussan showed completely fake.
3 or 4.
Not only are the aliens completely fake, but then he shows what he claims are alien spaceships. And these videos were debunked a long time ago. And these videos actually show flares and a Yoda balloon. That's right. Flares being dropped. That's one of the videos. And one of the other videos is a Yoda balloon, a Yoda Mylar balloon. Like, you can get it on Amazon. Just look up Yoda Mylar balloon, and you'll find the source of Jaime Maussan's UFOs. That, and buy yourself some flares, and you can make UFOs. These are flares. This was debunked definitively. A sighting from Hong Kong, China. These were definitively debunked as flares being dropped. These are not alien spaceship. Big surprise. Spoiler alert. These aren't alien spaceships. Spoiler alert. These are not aliens, you assholes. These are flares. So Jaime Maussan's evidence is all piss poor garbage. And this is a Yoda balloon. A Yoda balloon. A literal balloon of Yoda. Oh, no, that one's a manta balloon. I apologize. Maybe it's Yoda. Maybe Go Kicks Rocks is correct. Yeah. So Jaime Maussan not only showed fake aliens at his press, at this Mexican event, but he showed completely and totally, maybe this is the Yoda balloon. The other one is a manta balloon. It's a balloon of a manta ray. This one may be the Yoda balloon. So what we've got is Jaime Maussan not only showing completely and totally fake aliens at these events, but he's showing balloons and flares as alien spacecraft. This is the clown show that you get into here. This is their level of evidence. Look, a Yoda balloon. It's alien spacecraft. And KMMI Me77 says the way YouTube unfairly promotes grifters and not you doesn't help. Yeah, that's another issue. We don't get recommended because we're telling people the truth. And by the way, we also get demonetized for telling people the truth. Now, it may be that I raised my voice a bunch tonight, but our streams start off monetized with ads. But if you should happen to click on one of my videos and don't see an ad before you see the video, it's because the video got demonetized. We pay the truth tax here, which is unfortunate, but yeah, this is already been demonetized as limited or no ads. And just so everybody understands, I'll share my screen and show that to you. So what happens is the stream starts and we're monetized. But sometimes before I'm even on screen, when we're playing the introduction to the show, they flag it as not suitable for ads, right? But hey, Jimmy Church selling fake shit for decades is suitable for ads. And now I have to request a human review, which takes 4 to 7 days. By the time they finish the human review, all of the views are finished, and I get 0 ad revenue for tonight. That's why it's important, if you do want to support me, to join my Patreon, become a YouTube channel member, throw a couple bucks in our hat for a super chat or a PayPal pledge. It really does help. Because unlike the Grift Squad, apparently we're not eligible. We're supposed to be eligible for monetization and ad-supported content, but they just say what you're doing is not ad-friendly or not advertiser appropriate. But if you're Jimmy Church or Christina Gomer or Third Phase of Moon, you can sell all the fake stories you want, and that's fully monetizable. So that's the good news. But I refuse to just sell fake stories here on YouTube. Why should I do that? Who would want to do that on purpose? The Grift Squad, the Scam Squad. That's who. Crypto Alchemist says the same happens to him. You are not alone. Yeah, there's no money in truth, says Mark Tirana. People want fantasy stories. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Messianic cult followers of Jaime Maussan, says Steve Nicholson's. Yeah. Flares in a Yoda balloon. Sounds like a third phase of fake video. Yeah, well, those two grift together. They got a partnership. They could show each other's fake balloon videos and pretend they're aliens, right? Yeah, the reason, Crypto Alchemist says, the only reason the grifters, liars, and scammer squad get away with what they do is because the government lies. It could be. And yes, Ms. Tari, thanks for being a member, says Maussan causes others to dismiss legitimate investigation. Yeah. Look, somebody could come along with a real alien body and everybody will say, oh, that's probably fake, like those fake ones from Mexico. They won't even want to investigate it or invest any time or energy into it. Yeah, Algaray says, so many hoaxes on that list, I think I need my reading glasses. Yeah. Art and Paranormal, our one and only current moderator, thanks for helping, says, follow Stephen Cambion on Twitter, @Stephen Cambion. And by the way, all the sources for most of what I shared is in the description of the video. I did not put the Twitter links. Now I'm sure I reposted this, but I'm going to repost it fresh. The fake UFO videos of Jaime Maussan I've just tweeted to my Twitter @Stephen Cambion. So we try to put, just for those unaware, or maybe people new, by the way, welcome new subscribers. Our channel's still growing, even though, listen, all the odds are stacked against us. Like, there's no way that this should be working, and yet it is, because I think that there's a growing tide of people that are tired of this nonsense and want to see somebody, expose it. This shouldn't work, but our channel is still growing. We're getting new subscribers. Welcome new subscribers. And just for the benefit of new subscribers, we try to put all the sources that I use and talk about and share in the description of the video. They're usually there. Tonight they are. I'm proud of myself. I actually got them there before the show. Usually I'm trying to put them in as the break is playing or something. We're always behind schedule. A day late and a dollar short is a part of my life here. Rain Dimension says the Yoda balloon is one of Grush's 40 witnesses. Yeah. And that reminds me of one other funny thing. I put this out today, and this is one of my most liked tweets that I've put out in a long time. And again, this is another indication that people are tired of these fake stories. This is David Grush, and I modified his awards display to instead say 156 days making huge claims, 0 evidence shown so far. I think I did it. I'm getting better at this photoshopping funny stuff. This is great. 156 days he's been making huge claims, 0 evidence shown so far. But hey, don't let that deflate your disclosure boner, you disclosure dorks worshiping this clown that's been out there grifting for 156 days. The Grush grift continues. Tomorrow it'll be 157 days, and he'll still have shown no goddamn evidence of all the fantastical claims. You know, there's alien bodies, and we got alien spaceships. Great. Can we see evidence of it? Well, no. It's classified. Well, now you're getting your clearance back, so you should be able to talk about it. Oh, but I can only talk about it in the skiff, and it's classified, so you won't be able to hear any of it, right? More kick the can, more garbage peddling nonsense. And by the way, just to be clear, the 2 biggest grifts going right now in the UFO world are the Grush grift and the alien mummies grift. I'm kind of waiting for something to happen to cover the Grush grift again. There's not enough there. He gave a new interview where he said a lot of the same stuff. It's like he's got a script and he just keeps repeating the same lies without proving them. It's wonderful. Lunar Sparkle says the targeted ad was for menswear just now. Well, maybe we're getting limited ads. I don't know. Gary McKinnon was Lunar Sparkle's favorite live stream guest this week. Yeah, he was supposed to come here ages ago and never did. He said, I'm not doing interviews, but as soon as I am, I'll contact you back. I haven't heard from him. I'd like to interview him. Maybe we'll have him here eventually, but I feel like he's making the rounds. I think he was on an Alien Addict show, and he was also on Alien Scientist show. So if I have him like now, it'll look like we're just going, yeah, they did good with that guest. Let's get him, you know, I'm going to put some time, and then I'll ask him again, maybe in a few months. We'll see. Oh, yeah, I'm covering that. Charlie Phillips. Oh, and the M370 grift, which was debunked by West and Reddit. Yes, it was completely debunked, but people are still asking for lots of money for that. 156 days without incident, the incident being disclosure. 156 days and counting. It's going to be 157 days in about 32 minutes here. We're coming up on midnight. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching the ads. We appreciate that. And we appreciate all of you kind and generous benefactors. We're going to take a moment to thank Maria for a kind and generous $50 PayPal pledge, who says, I'm not sure that I believed Michael Stratt's stories, but I really enjoyed his presentation, and I'm glad that you two can get along even if you disagree on his so-called evidence. Well, thank you. $50 PayPal pledge. Very, very kind and generous of you. We appreciate your kindness, generosity, and support, Maria. Very, very, and I appreciate your comments. Look, there was this weird rift. Well, not really a rift, but like, people thought that I was going to just trash Michael Stratt because he was in these third phase documentaries or whatever, or working for Stephen Greer. Like, I cautioned him against it. I expressed my feelings honestly as a friend to him. And we're okay. Like, we'll just agree to disagree on some things. I like Michael Stratt as a person, but I think Michael he spends a lot of time on things that have no evidence. You know, I mean, pretty pictures and descriptions of witness descriptions of flying saucers or spaceships or aliens is cool and all, but if the story is just a story told by somebody and there's no real evidence to back up the story, I think he's wasting resources and time and talent and dedication making all of this material to kind of bolster a story that's just a story. And he knows how I feel about all this, but I agree. He makes great pictures and stuff, and he has great illustrations, and he has good presentations. And he truly believes that he's out looking for the truth of these things, and I can't blame him for that. But I think his believer brain kicks in a little too much. But I like the guy as a person, and hopefully he and I will always be okay, right? Or in Paranormal that says, thank you, Maria. And Charlie Phillips says, hey, Grush needs plane tickets and his clearance updated. Yeah, disclosure is canceled. I can't afford a plane trip. Disclosure's canceled because I can't buy a plane ticket. So disclosure's canceled, right? Well, listen, we have done our due diligence, friends. We're at 2 hours, 30 minutes. I've been saying I'm going to try to keep these things to 2 hours. It just never seems to work out that way. But I'm big on completion of thought. So if I have all this stuff to share, I want to get through it all. I want to give all that I've found and all that I have located. I want to share with you. So sometimes that takes longer than I'd like. Usually it does. So we've done our due diligence for today. And by the way, I want to apologize because over the weekend we did those replays and somehow I did 2 premieres at once, which would explain the lower view count, as if I am not having enough problems with that as it is. But I made a mistake and I put 2 premieres playing at the same exact time. So our audience was split between the 2 premieres or bouncing back and forth. So catch up. They're both in the video section and we've got 3 new ones. This weekend, we're doing Alien theme. All 3 of the best of or Truthseekers classic episodes. For those unaware, we're broadcasting every night at 9 p.m. Whether I'm here live or not, several nights a week, we're going to have best of episodes, my favorite episodes of Truthseekers. And there's a reason for that. One, it should help increase income and bolster more views and get us more viewers and fans of the show. But also because we have this huge archive of previous live shows that largely sit there getting no views. So we're starting with the ones when I first started the show from 3 years ago. And you may notice that some of them are a little more believer-based. I've gotten more and more cynical and more skeptical as time goes on covering these strange and esoteric topics. But this weekend, I'm going to get the times right. So Friday night, 9 p.m., Saturday night, 9 p.m., and Sunday night at 9 p.m., and I'm running for some great alien stories this weekend. We have Stranger at the Pentagon, the strange story of Valiant Thor, which is quite a deep dive. And then we have a video talking about the Skinny Bob alien. This is popping up again, and many people are asking me what I think of it. I have a video. Nobody finds it, so we're going to redo that. And then there's a very strange story of an alien being shot and killed at McGuire Air Force Base. And I feel a special connection to that story because I grew up spending all my summers right next to McGuire Air Force Base in a town called Browns Mills, New Jersey. You can look it up. And it was this sleepy small town with a lot of lakes and stuff. My dad bought a cottage for my grandparents that they built there. And there's a lake, and, I spent my summers there with my mom, and my dad would work during the week and just come on the weekends. It was a great place to grow up, though. It was right next to Fort Dix Army Base and McGuire Air Force Base. But in any case, there's this incredible story of an alien being shot and killed. And this one is in my gray basket because the guy telling the story is very credible and comes across as very believable. I've spoken to him on the phone several times. I'm going to try to get a fresh interview out of him about this story. But in the meantime, we have the piece that I did from one of his recorded talks on this apparent alleged alien murder event. And again, that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 9 p.m. And I do want to take a moment to remind you that we'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And that will be, oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong bumper. Yeah. So tomorrow night, which is November 9th already, November is flying by. You know what? Thanksgiving will be here before you know. Christmas will be here before you know it. I'm very happy because I talked to my son today. I asked him, what are you going to tell Santa Claus that you want? I'm taking mental notes. Oh, my God, I think I forgot already. It's like Mario something. Anyway, he only wants 3 games this year, which is so much better than a PlayStation and 10 PlayStation games, or, and a couple of them are Switch games, which I think are a little less expensive. Anyway, I'm getting off cheap this year. There's good news in Santa land. So Christmas will be here before you know it. But I wanted to remind you, we're broadcasting here every night at 9 p.m. There'll be 3 or 4, depending on my schedule, live shows every week. And then there'll be 3 of the Truthseekers classic episodes, my favorite, the shows that I think are really good quality and the best and whose information still holds up. So we've done our due diligence for today, but we'll be back tomorrow night. That's the next show will be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. p.m. Eastern. And I will be here live. And then again, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we've got the Truthseekers Classic episodes for you. And I should be in the live chat from the cabin. I usually try to be in a live chat when we do those premieres because it's a good opportunity to just chat with you users. Instead of trying to run the show and chat with you and all this other stuff. Yeah. Me77 says, you have cut a lot of the bad language and unfiltered thoughts compared to these old episodes. Yeah, the older episodes are really rough around the edges, right? I've been dropping F-bombs and cursing. But interestingly, those pass the filters to be ad-friendly. And we can play replays all we want here, fully monetizable. But the scrutiny knob must be turned up super high on the live streams. I don't know if they change things. Who can figure this out, right? Valiant Thor, yes, from the planet Venus, and I cover it better than most people ever covered at Rain Dimensions. I give you all sides of the story, and I think that we did a great job covering that, better than anybody else that I've seen, because we included, the information that would kind of blow the story as fake. Nobody does that. They all tell the story and only include the parts of the story with, an alien from Venus visited Earth and spend time at the Pentagon, and they don't give you the history of the guy selling the story and all that stuff. Charlie Phillips is here and says, the CIA doesn't like those who speak the truth. Well, yeah, they're professional liars. That's what they do. Yes, Stephen has a lot of great Midnight Hour episodes too. Yeah, maybe we'll start playing one of those a week at midnight. That'd be cool. I think there's 60 Midnight Hour show episodes. For those unaware, before Truthseekers, I had an audio-only podcast called The Midnight Hour, which was based largely on my love of Midnight in the Desert, Art Bell's show. And boy, if you want to see me really be a true alien believer and really go on the believer side, those old episodes before I started this show is much more believer-based. But there's some great interviews in there, including one with Stan Friedman, I think one with Don Schmidt, who's the guy from Paradigm Research, Stephen Bassett, and Stan Gordon. There's John McAfee I interviewed for that podcast. There's a lot of great interviews there. Don't let Wilcock creep about. Yeah, David Wilcock says Valiant Thor is real. That's how you know it's fake. But yeah, spoilers, right? Yeah. Never heard the BS behind Valiant Thor. Well, you'll enjoy that, Rain Dimensions. And good to see you here. Thanks for always being in the live chat. Tales of the Sonic Voyage, thanks for being a member. Hello, everyone. Better late than never, I guess. Yeah, can we get you anything like a watch, maybe? It's 9 o'clock every night. It's easy. No, we're glad you're here no matter when you're here. And we're glad for all you replay crowd, too. So we thank all of you. And I wouldn't be a good YouTuber if I didn't take a moment to remind you to please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. We're facing all these obstacles. And one of the ways that you can help us overcome these obstacles is to like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos on your social media. Also, I've been getting a lot of notices from people who say, I don't get notices when you're live. Go to my website, truthseekershow.com, the show's website. From there, you can get all the latest and greatest audio and video episodes, the replays, everything. And you can sign up for a mailing list. And if you sign up for a mailing list, as soon as we post new content, you get a notice right in your email. So that kind of bypasses all the problems that people are having getting the YouTube notifications. I don't know what's going on. I apologize. I can't control it, but I got 3 emails today. You were live yesterday at 9 p.m. I didn't get a notice. I didn't get a notification. I don't know what's going on. So one of the ways to combat that is to sign up on our website. And by the way, we don't spam you constantly. We just send you a quick notice when we upload a new episode, whether it be an audio podcast episode or a video episode. You get a quick notice in your email just saying new content, and here's what it is. So sign up on our website, truthseekershow.com, and you'll always know when there's new content available for you to enjoy. So what can I say, friends? We've done our due diligence for tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. I want to be sure to thank our kind and generous benefactors. you kind and generous Patreon supporters. By the way, I'm making a Patreon video just for you this week, and members, YouTube channel members, you'll get this bonus video as well. We want to thank you PayPal pledgers, you Twitch subscribers, you Red Pill gold pillars. People are sending, I'm praising the cash on pill.net now. You Twitch subscribers, we thank you all for your kindness, your generosity, and support. And I want to especially take a moment to thank you audio podcast listeners, because, you know, somehow the audio podcast is really growing, and we're getting a lot more downloads than we ever did before. And with that comes a paycheck, because those are monetized listens, and we thank you all. Make sure you, if you're somewhere and you can't watch the video, but you still want to enjoy our content, download some of those audio podcast episodes, because I need to get paid, quite honestly. Praise the cash, bitches! All right, we've done our due diligence for today, and I feel good that we're spreading truth in a world full of lies here. You know, and that's something to be proud of, and not caving to the pressure of, you know, just signing off on dead babies being dug up and glued back together as fake aliens. You know, there's some things, there's some lines I'm never going to cross, and I don't understand people that are just willing to get their pound of flesh and take their 40 pieces of silver out of this despicable, disgusting act of depravity that is these fake alien mummies. So what can I say, friends? That's all I got for you for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No place I'd rather be. I hope you'll be here with me then. That's all I got for you for now. Until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless before I jump out of here, boy, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. We make it our policy here that if you become a YouTube channel member during a live broadcast, then we give you a big shout out and a thank you. And we want to thank Scott Duncan, who just became a YouTube channel member as the end credits were playing. But I wanted to jump back in here and make sure that I give him a shout out and a thank you. Thank you, Scott Duncan, new member, for your generosity and your support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. Praise the cash. And we also had Patrick Sheehan throw in a late $4.99 super sticker or super chat with no message. Longtime show supporter, Patrick Sheehan. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We appreciate all of you. I can't thank all of you enough for the support, especially considering all of these obstacles that we are facing trying to do this the moral, the ethical, and take the high road sort of way. It's disappointing that all you have to do if you really want to, you know, there was some discussion on our Discord about somebody being successful because they give their audience what they want, but this person is giving their audience nothing but completely and totally fake stories and fake people pushing fake, false narratives, disinformation, misinformation, false information, fake information, hoaxes. It's ridiculous. And this is the world we find ourselves in. I still believe that you can explore these strange or esoteric subjects and do it in an ethical and moral and correct way. And I hope I'll always continue to believe that. And I'm able to do this through the kindness, generosity, and support, really, of all of you kind and generous benefactors. People like our supporters for tonight, Lord Ludicrous, Scott Duncan, Maria, who sent that big PayPal pledge. We thank you very much. And of course, Patrick Sheehan. We want to thank all of you guys, Patreon supporters and the like, for your kindness, generosity, and support. So we'll try this again. Tonight will be doubly blessed. That's all I got for you. Good night, and God bless all of you.